at the Kite Surfing World Cup Fehmarn. We'd like to have a look around, see who's here and what's new. Hi, today we are at the course stand with Steven Akkersdijk. Steven Akkersdijk is one of the big air riders from King of the Air. So Steven, what can you tell us?
Yeah, so for this year we have quite a few new interesting products for you guys. I'll start over here with the XR5. It's our fifth edition of this kite. It's the kite you want to get if you're a big air rider, a free rider. It's actually our most selling kite, and I have to say we had it was hard to make it better, to improve on our last series. So there's not really a lot of major changes, but we did do a lot of small changes, which in the end they add to the bigger picture and make the kite have a new feel. So basically, a few of the small changes are the tips. We made them quite a bit stiffer with double stitching, so it will be more stable in higher wind conditions. We played a little bit with the aspect ratio and the bridle, and this is just the kite you want to get if you go big. And to play around with that going big a little bit, we decided to get together with Woo, and we organized the XR5 Big Air Challenge. Basically, all you have to do is go big with a Woo, upload your stats to Woo, hashtag us with hashtag XR5 Challenge, and you get a chance to win a trip to Cape Town. Sounds pretty awesome, doesn't it?
That is awesome. Sounds great. Yeah.
So over here we got the chorus section. This is part of our specialized series. It's our dedicated wave kite. We made this kite so you can go in the waves. It's very good for drifting abilities. It's very light. That makes it drift quite a bit better. And it's made for just hitting the big waves. If you go on a trip to Bali, for instance, Mauritius, and you purely want to do waves, this is where you want to go to. Over there, we released the new Impact. We got quite a few new team riders this year that are riding the World Tour Freestyle, and all of them gave more input into making this kite. Made the kite a little bit more high aspect ratio, so it stands further in the corner. We added a few sizes as well, the 8 and the 15. So the 15 for the freestyle riders that want to still have a sea kite whilst riding in the light wind conditions. And the 8 was actually because of me, because I wanted the 8 because it's nicer in looping than a 9. So that's the kite that you want to get if you're gonna go for the freestyle tricks, pure wake style orientated. That's the Impact. So then let's move over to the boards that we have.
So, you mentioned something about a new surfboard range. What is that all about?
Yeah, so before we only had the Ripper 2, which basically is a classic surfboard shape. We still have that classic surfboard shape. We brought out the new Ripper 3. Again, we made some small changes. We made it a round tail instead of a squash tail. And with this round tail, it will hold quite a bit better in your bottom turns due to the smaller tail. Then further on, it's our classic shape. Actually, you have inserts instead in case you want to ride with the straps. Reinforce the back with a carbon fiber, and this is the board you want to ride in. This is the board that can ride all conditions. So if you go on a trip and you're not sure what you're gonna get, then that is definitely a good choice to bring. Then next to that, we have the Core 720, which I'm very happy with this year. It's a complete new shape for us. It's a cut nose, basically meaning it's for big waves, it's really not the board you want to ride. But if you're riding small waves, like German chop, for instance, or German North Sea waves, this board is a lot of fun because of the wider tail. It rides quite well even on the lower speeds. And then what I mainly use it for is just the strapless freestyle. A classic surfboard shape makes for a little bit of turbulence in the air, so if you do rotations, it feels a bit wobbly.
Yeah.
This board has a lot of surface area, so it's going to stick very well to your feet once you get up in the air. Then, if you're really a big barrel hunter and you're going to go on a trip to Indo and you know you're going to get perfect waves, then we also released a green room. The name already says it a little bit. It's a green room. Well, basically, it's made for getting deep in that barrel and pushing it to the limit. The board is a bit smaller, less wide than the Ripper, and therefore you can hold it better on higher speeds. I mean, if you're going to ride barrels, they're probably going to be at least head high, otherwise you won't fit in, of course. And then it's very nice to have a bit of a longer and smaller board.
Okay.
So yeah, that's our new surfboard range. Then I got one more thing for you, and that's the twin tip.
So Steven, I see you have the new Fusion 3 in your hands with a lot of changes, I believe. What has changed?
Yeah, so we changed quite a few things, so let's start with the bottom. We gave it a complete new bottom shape. I'm gonna hold it like this for a moment so you can have a small look. What we actually did is we changed the channels. We used to have channels only in the tips. Now we make the channels run all the way through. This gives you a bit of a softer ride because the channels give you grip and they break the chop a little bit. So that's it's a little bit easier on your knees. We implemented a lot of technology that we have with Carve, that we found out with Carve, we implemented in Core. And what you'll see, one of these things is our carton carbon. It's a layer of carbon. Normally it's 45 degrees and 45 degrees. If you put it together, but we did 30-30, which actually makes the board have a lot better of a flex pattern, and it doesn't have so much torsion anymore. Then another thing we did is we have this V bottom, the V concave in the board. This makes for earlier planing in the board, and it will also help you have a little bit of softer landings and slightly more grip.
Nice.
Then you might, when you see the board, you think, oh, that rail is actually pretty thick. We have quite a thick rail for this year, and actually the thicker is almost the better, because if you have a thick rail, the water won't just, it eases the flow of water that comes off the rail. So actually a thicker rail makes for a bit more grip. Plus, if you land a little bit sideways, the board is not just going to chop in the water and you're going to have a backside edge or a front side edge. I don't know if you know it, but if you know it, you know it's not nice. Then the rails are ABS. It's a type of plastic, but ABS is quite heavy. So what we actually did is we extended the wood core from till about here. We extended it all the way to the edges, and through that we minimized the amount of ABS we have in the rails, and that makes that the board has better flex patterns because there's more wood in the core, or more wood in the board, and it also makes it a bit lighter. So in the end, this is the board you want to get if you like free riding. You don't want a board that's too hard on your knees. Yeah.
Sounds like we all should try that.
Give it a
Should
try.
try it out and see how it goes.
Yeah, definitely.
So that's a lot of great info on your new products. Yeah? Thank you very much for that. Is there any place where we can actually try the core kites, the boards?
Get into contact with your local retailer and he can for sure tell you where you have the possibility.
Sounds good. So what is your next trip? Where will we be able to see you again?
Yeah, so at the moment I'm still in Germany for about 1 or 2 weeks more, then back to Holland for 2 weeks. And then the travel begins again. Spain, Portugal, France maybe, and in the winter for sure again in Cape Town.
We definitely will see you in Cape Town. Great, yeah. Thanks a lot, Steven.
Yeah, pleasure, and cheers. Ride hard.